Hello, welcome to the CIRS Healing Collective Expert Guest Video Series. I'm Jenny Johnson, the host and facilitator of the CIRS Healing Collective, which has been a resource for aspiring CIRS overcomers to share and connect from around the world since 2020. I'm a shoemaker proficiency partner and CIRS coach, and most importantly, an overcomer myself. What you're about to see is a 10-minute excerpt from a 90-minute group discussion that members of the CIRS Healing Collective got to have live with this expert guest. If you would like to see the full 90-minute replay, come on over to the CIRS Healing Collective. We have a robust video library from the past 5 or 6 years of so many expert guests. Better yet, you'll be able to join our future monthly live discussions with experts to come. We'd love to have you. Hey, everybody. Got a great crew. This is clearly a hot topic. Here comes a few more people in the waiting room. We'll let everybody in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be such a good conversation with Max. I'm so grateful that he could be here and that you can all be here. Our HVAC systems, such an important topic. And Max McCord is actually one of the people who has brought this to the forefront of my attention. I don't know if you guys knew this, but a lot of mold inspectors don't look at the HVAC system. Either they can't access it or they haven't been trained on how to look at it, even if they could access it. And so they just kind of look at other things and ignore it. Unless it's specifically requested and there's maybe an AC, an HVAC professional there who can open it up. And so a lot of us are doing inspections and getting no information about our HVAC system or our ductwork. And therein lies the problem. So Max McCord is a dear friend and colleague. He is a medically important IEP, so an indoor environmental professional. So we know we've got like inspectors and remediators. The IEP designation is usually more about the inspector, so he's on the inspection side, and he's also an HVAC professional. So he takes into consideration the AC, furnace, ductwork, and even smaller systems in when he's doing a mold inspection. And that's the reason why we have invited him here, because this is his area of expertise, combining the HVAC system with a mold inspection, and specifically for people with health issues like CIRS.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. It's good to sit
Yeah.
to help educate people here, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. And just so you know who we are, Max, this is the CIRS Healing Collective. We've been around for about 5 years. People kind of come and go as needed, but this is a space, this is a healing space for people with CIRS, or maybe they suspect they have CIRS or another environmental illness, similar to a, mold exposure, or maybe a family member does, and they're here to learn and they're here to support each other. And we host guests like yourself once a month and support group sessions and stuff like that. Right. So that's who we are. And it's a pretty savvy group, and but a very kind group. So we're all grateful that you're here, Max. Well, let's get into, so I think we all really appreciate that the AC system is important. It's often missed, especially even in inspections. We want to know what we don't know and what we don't even know that we don't know. And you're here to help us with that. So, like if we do an ERMI or a HERTSMI or something, it's like, oh, wow, this particular mold species is really high. Is there anything like that where we could say that's probably the HVAC system? Or how would we be able to tell that our HVAC system may be compromised? Any clues there?
There is. And so there's several clues. So when it comes to virtual, again, we deal with patients from Dubai where it's very dry to your state, right? So different states. So we do want to get an ERMI test. That to us, in our company, that's the gold standard for medical testing. There's many types, right? But to really look at what's happening in the home, looking at the historical DNA, then the MSQ PCR test is just fantastic and shows different species and levels. Very misunderstood, and I'm sure you guys have discussed this to nth degree in here too. but I am absolutely for it. There's other testing we can do too. But when we look at it, either virtual, where the client did their own testing, or we go on site, there are certain very, very key indicators. So a lot of the service doctors we work with, we highly recommend get the full ERMI data set. We're not concerned so much about the ERMI score at this point, just the data set versus just getting the HERTSMI. The HERTSMI gives you 5 species, the 5 kryptonite species, and they're helpful. But we want to get the full data set as an IEP to look at exactly what you're saying. What indicators are precursors or something else indicating, Houston, we have a problem, right? What's going
Right.
on? So and there's a lot of misunderstandings with this too. And so that's kind of why I said when I started, I've done thousands of assessments over time. Being Florida, it's literally 6 days a week. I work, or hurricanes where you can just be, oh my gosh, right? Just so busy. And so because of that, that's allowed me to see a lot of data sets. And
Yeah.
because I do it on site, like I'm literally out there touching stuff, moving stuff, getting the results, and then analyzing it, then that shows a pattern. And that's often different than the pattern we get from Dr. Google when we look for certain information. What are common species?
Mm.
And a lot of information we get from there is often copied and pasted onto other websites and repeated. And so just because it's repeated often doesn't make it true, which applies to
Mm.
CIRS, right? Because how do we get gaslighted all the time from the regular doctor saying it's in your head, right? So it's just ridiculous.
Right.
We're looking at the cladosporium is definitely a key indicator for specifically air conditioned issues. So cladosporium. So when you look on the actual report, all the reports, all the labs, typically if you say it's from a common outdoor source, common indoor as well. It's actually very specific to AC issues. So, and then often that's the issue.
Wow. Okay, there's so much that you said there. So what I'm hearing is that if we do an ERMI, and you're saying ERMI, not a HERTSMI, a HERTSMI can be helpful to get a general idea of, is this kind of a shoemaker passing house? Do I get my 10 or not? But if we're doing a more of a like a diagnostic process on our house, we want more information to be forensic with, to figure out like what's really going on with the health of my home. That full ERMI panel can be really helpful because we can see what all those different species are doing,
Absolutely.
not just does it pass or fail. So you're looking at cladosporium. Is there a particular species that is more associated with AC issues than others out of the cladosporium ones on there?
Mostly cladosporium, penicillium also will come up. And so on that note, for people who, and again, most people probably have had an air sample done of some sort, or biotape or a swab or some kind of basic mold testing. As you may know, and I apologize for repeating what other guests may have said, but when you do that type of test, they cannot distinguish between the various aspergilluses or the penicillium. They group it
Right.
together and it shows just aspergillus penicillium combined, and we don't know which ones. And it really doesn't, it's not that helpful to put that in there. So that's why there's definite limitations with that. But with MSQ PCR, we do see that. But I should
Mhm.
also point out too, the problem with the score, and I just had this conversation earlier today with a client. If the score is a 10, right, it seems good from a score standpoint. The weighting system, the way the scoring system works, it tops out at 499 or 500 to make a round figure for aspergillus. You're going to have a 10, at 500. You're going to have a 10 at 3,000.
Right.
So we have to look a little bit deeper from our perspective, right,
Yeah.
as an IEP we want more than just the score. And so when we work with clients, we want the full report sent, not just the score. Great for
Yeah.
the clinician to look at, great for many reasons to look at, but we absolutely need to look at that as well, because that is definitely it's pointing in a certain direction. And when I get the lab
Yeah.
results in advance, because a lot of service patients, know how to do the test in advance, and that's why they know they have an issue, don't know what issue, but it's an issue. We look at that, and I can then point to certain directions. Now, we have other species. It can be some species from outside. It can be serious water damage intrusion, like Stachybotrys. You can have some on the air handler box. But when it's high in numbers, we have other issues happening that we have to find.
Okay.